Joining me right now, the perfect way to finish out the show here on our Go Home episode before WrestleMania. Something's going on Sunday in Miami. I'm not really sure if it's important, but we know Friday night, Ocean's 10, 7 p.m. VIPs can get in, 8 o'clock starts the general admission, have a cast of characters, and of course it's all led by my guest. We had Kelly on earlier, so I guess we had a blonde who was petite sexy. Now we have a gray big sexy and Kevin Nash. Kevin, how are you?
What's up, my man? How you doing?
I'm doing well. It's good to be talking to you.
Sorry I'm late. I had to take my boy to the dock.
You're being a good dad, and I commend you for it.
I had no choice.
No, it's not a problem, man. You had good timing, actually. It's a good way to finish with you. You're in the main event spot. But
all right. Well, I didn't want to be popcorn after Kelly, so.
Kevin, we got Sean Waltman, Billy Gunn, even Mr. Redneck Riviera himself, DDP, Rikishi, the Headbangers, Sonny, Harry Smith, Rob Terry, Robbie E, and of course yourself. Before we do anything, you got to give. I mean, we did it in Atlanta, we did it in Cleveland, a smaller one in Cleveland. You got to give a summary to people of what they can expect if they get to come party with Kevin Nash.
Well, I was just informed yesterday this place doesn't close till 5.
You're kidding. You're kidding.
And that's what somebody told me.
Oh.
So.
5? Do you realize how much wine you can drink in that time?
Whew. I might be able to put Andre numbers up.
Wow.
But no, it'll be fun. We'll have a good time. All I like is a chance to mingle. You know, get out and just kind of be in a bar atmosphere. You know, every time you kind of hang out with the wrestling crowd, it's always at some autograph convention or something like that. There's time restraints. People are pushing people through lines, and they ever get a chance to sit down and talk and just kind of hang out with it. Just hang out with each other and get to know the people that have been a part of your career a little bit better. And because without people in seats, we don't make a living, and we don't exist.
Well, and that's
our self-importance doesn't exist.
Well, that's the great thing. That's the great thing. Not only your personality being so laid back, but that's why this party, the situation is such a great one, because you do take time to, you're very appreciative of everybody that pays their money to come in. So again, if you get a chance to, Nash and Friends, PWRshow.com. PWRshow.com is where you can get your general admission tickets. I believe VIP are all sold out. But David Hero, Damian Nelson from PWR, myself, the guys from Aftermath, it's going to be a great time Friday night. And Kevin, I mentioned this earlier in the show. People can also get personalized autographs, video autographs from you. I guess information is at nashandfriends.com, but they can get a personalized kind of greeting from you, as well as a signed picture. Right.
I mean, that can go to anybody. It can go to, if you have a friend that's a fan or a friend that absolutely despises me, I can say just about anything tailored for your liking to a specific individual or group. So I've actually had some fun doing those. I think you're my cohort in that. You're my production man.
I am your production man. I guess everybody was happy last time, so we're doing it again.
Well, and we're very efficient.
We are. We knocked. I think we got 20 done in a matter of 30 minutes. It was good.
Oh yeah, we're good.
NashandFriends.com.
So, no, it's gonna be like you said, Joe. There's a lot of people have a preconceived idea of the kind of person I am, but like I've always said, that if you don't like me, it's because you really haven't spent an afternoon or an evening with me, and just to give a chance for some people to see that I'm just, I'm not anything like my sheep persona. I'm pretty laid back. We'll have some fun.
Kevin, while we have you on, let's talk. That very important night on Sunday night is WrestleMania. We'll just talk Mania here for a minute. We were talking about this a lot on the last episode of this radio show. WrestleMania 23, I think, goes down technically as the highest vault with 1.2 million. I know WrestleMania 17 in Houston was a big one. Last year's was big in the million buys. I got to think, and you're a numbers guy, you know this business really well, I got to think that with all the promotion, I mean, WWE is occupying the YouTube homepage on Friday, for Christ's sake. I got to think that this one has the ability to top the 1.2 million buyer record.
My prediction is going to be, I predicted earlier, so I'm going to say around 1-4.
1-4? That sounds fair.
That's my number. And, I mean, there's so much in this, and the thing is in the past that, you know, I've said this on a couple interviews, that, you know, the special guest at WrestleMania would be a Shatner or, you know, somebody like that. And, you know, I mean, it would be somebody that would, you know, even Mike Tyson, though Mike Tyson was a fighter, you knew that Mike isn't going to go out there and work 25, 30 minutes. I think LT was the exception to that. But this one here, I mean, your special guest is kind of The Rock.
Right.
And here's a guy that's, you know, one of the boys that's you know, a legend, coming back, facing Cena. I watched that kind of one-on-one thing they did before Raw last night. I thought that was really well done, and such a I mean, it has the. I remember as a kid, and this of course will date myself, but hell, I got gray hair, so it doesn't really matter. I remember the first Ali Frazier fight, and I remember that build-up, and it you know, it's Cena and Rock has that feel, you know, more so than Warrior and Hogan, because, you know, Rock's been away from it, and it hasn't had that typical build-up. You know, they haven't put hands on each other. You know, it's and on top of that, I don't think anybody can honestly, you know, I would not want to bet money on who's going over, and it's a work.
Yeah, well, that's
You know?
that's the great thing about this. I keep saying is that it has that that element of art imitating life, where we know that the two I mean, they respect each other. They're both professionals, but we know the two of them genuinely just don't like each other, and I think that makes this so great.
And you know, the thing is too is just I just think that when they get to the point of the match when they start going into false finishes, I just really you know, it could be anything or everything that could end this, and you know, I just really think that it's going to be. I think it's going to be amazing to be in the building. But you know, for Hell in a Cell, I really want to make sure that I'm by a monitor for that, because I know that the drama and the storytelling that's going to go on at Taker and Triple H's match with HBK. I mean, that's going to be one that, you know, and it's hard for me to. I had a hard time last year watching Taker, because they do so much of their matches facials, and the story that they tell. And you know, I'd like to have that announcer talk to me and guide me along in the story. And you know, sometimes I have to be at a monitor for that. So I'm kind of thrown up on this one, whether or not I want to be backstage by a monitor or be up in the skybox and like I was last year in Atlanta and taking the spectacle. But I have a feeling that this one's pretty special. I might want to, because I missed so much of it last year. I didn't realize how much I missed until I actually sat down and watched it. You know, there's a part of me wants to go home on Sunday and watch the damn thing in my house.
Well,
you know?
I kind of agree with the Hell in a Cell, just because in general cage matches, especially one that's as big as Hell in a Cell, they're always a little bit tough to watch live in the first place.
They really are.
So, Kevin, speaking of the Hell in a Cell and talking about the other matches, obviously Rock Cena finishes the night. I'm a big thing about, you know, the three biggest matches: the Hell in a Cell, the Rock Cena, and the Punk match, the WWE Championship match. Those are your three biggest matches, and not to obviously put them too close to each other, because the audience is going to get exhausted. Now, I'm under the belief in the support, and I've gotten a lot of heat from this from people that hear this. I say, let Punk and Jericho. Let them be the tone center for the match. Let Jericho come out right at the start of the show, say, I'm not waiting for Punk anymore. I want him now. Let that match be first. Put Hell in a Cell, you know, somewhere towards the back end, but leave a match or two in between Hell in a Cell and Rock Cena. What would you start this card with? I mean, because, you know, starting the show is just as big as ending the show. How would you start this show?
I mean, you've also got you've got Danielson's, you've got I mean,
Sheamus.
I don't know. I might go something. I might go that match. You know, I might open with Sheamus and that, because I know that's going to be. You know, it's. I kind of would like the last three to be Jericho, Punk, but then again, like I've said before, I said Jericho and Punk could be Savage, Steamboat. I mean, that could be the match, that that really takes off too. So it's just like, I know that I don't want to follow, no matter what. I mean, I wouldn't want to follow that cell.
Exactly. Right. No. So
you know, and I mean, I don't think you can not put Rock and Cena last. So imagine that. Imagine that we actually have a WrestleMania that there's probably 5 matches worthy of semi and main event status, and you're trying to figure out the best way. I mean, I don't think that that your idea is a bad idea at all. I mean, it hadn't really crossed my mind to put Punk and Jericho first, but I mean,
I could just picture Punk walking through that curtain and just going to the entire roster. Okay, boys, you're all up next.
Well, my whole thing is to exactly follow that. I mean, it's Jerry Lee Lewis, and I mean, there's I remember as a kid, Rod Carew being the leadoff guy for the Twins, and he was no slouch. I mean, he was a pretty good ball player. I mean, it's important to get it off, get it off to a bang. And I think if Punk and Jericho go out there and set the bar at 7.5, I mean, then everybody else is. I mean, all you're doing is raising the level of every performance after that.
Absolutely.
So that could absolutely be a way to start the night. I just there's really nowhere to catch your breath. It's going to be a long 4 hours. I think the fans are going to be exhausted. There'll be a lot of people taking Monday off.
Well, and of course, for the 300 people that attend the party on Friday, they may not make it into WrestleMania on time. So,
I mean, we're going to offer a $1,300 liver cleanse on Saturday. So.
I really hope I run into you Saturday. I want to see what shape you're in.
Hey, I've got a wrestling reunion autograph session at 10 a.m.
That's perfect because that's actually at the resort that I'm staying at, so I'll be able to see you stumbling through with glasses on.
Have you ever seen me sell the next day? Fair question. That's good.
Talking.
I might be miserable on the inside, but I'll be put. I'm one of the old school guys. Prop me up in the corner. I'll be fine.
If I remember correctly, you just have a hankering for Big Macs at McDonald's, and there's no McDonald's in sight, if I recall.
That's right. There won't be. So,
Kevin,
yeah, you got to get that grease in you.
Kevin, this past fall, we got to see you back on WWE. I was there in Baltimore for that TLC match. I thought that was that was the last match we saw. It was a perfect storytelling between you and Triple H. Obviously, I loved when you were on your knees, beaten and bruised. You put up the click sign, and then Hunter hits you with the hammer, and that's it. It certainly had a great storytelling finish. You guys put it all out there for two guys that were the two oldest guys on the card. If we never see Diesel or Kevin Nash in a WWE ring again for a match, are you happy with how? Are you happy with how you left off?
Yeah, absolutely. I gave it all I had. I don't think 10 years earlier in my career, I would have taken a bump off a ladder through a table. So it was one of those things where, I going into it, I looked at it as maybe my last match, ever in the WWE, and it was I'm out there with one of my best friends.
Sure.
In the world. It's just, you couldn't have a better setting. So I was completely happy with it. And I've never had, it's funny because as this WrestleMania came forward and I got caught up in the hype and got caught into the road to WrestleMania, I'm watching on Raw, I didn't have that. It was almost like a relief that I wasn't under the pressure to have to perform, to have to be at that level, because it did take a lot to get to, if you were to pick a match to say which match would you not want to put Kevin Nash in, I think it would be a ladder match.
Sure.
And that being my last match, and us having to kind of do the smoke and mirrors that we did, to get around. Both of us are pretty beat up. It's not like Paul's not a spring chicken, though Paul's 10 years younger than I am. Paul's got a lot of miles on him. He's worked his ass off for a lot of years. He carried that, let's not forget how many years he carried that company. So, it was what it was, and I know that I couldn't give any more than I gave that night. So I know that I felt it for a couple of weeks afterwards.
Now, Magic Mike and Rock of Ages. I got to see a trailer the other day of Rock of Ages and see you all jacked up. I want to get you to at least talk about this real quick before we leave. You got two big movies coming out this year. Rock of Ages, where you're playing Tom Cruise, who's like this legendary rock star. You're playing his bodyguard, and then the Magic Mike, where you are a male dancer with both films have a hell of a cast. I don't know what you can or cannot say or what have you about either one, but can you give us just a little bit about each of them and what we can expect?
Rock of Ages, I'm just, I play his bodyguard, but I'm more window dressing. It's like, to me, Rock of Ages is kind of Glee on steroids.
Okay.
But the difference is that it's based on the '80s hair metal.
Right.
And Tom Cruise does an amazing job. I think people are going to, everybody sings their own music. Nothing's lipped. Nothing's, it's the real deal. When Tom Cruise sings, it's Tom Cruise singing. And he transferred, the character's name is Stacy Jackson, he plays, and it would be the equivalent of kind of like Bon Jovi going on his own, except he's kind of he's a little bit of a drunkard, but it's good. I think it's going to be it'll be a blockbuster. I mean, I just wanted to be in it, and at least get a chance to work with Cruise. And I've been around movies long enough to know that until you see the final cut, you could think you're in it a ton and not be in it at all, and vice versa. Magic Mike is with Channing Tatum, is the star of that movie. But I mean, Matthew McConaughey is our boss. He runs the male strip club. But the basis of that story is that we're the #1 Tampa-based male review, and we're getting ready to move the show to Miami. I play Tarzan, the aged male dancer with I swing on a vine when I come out and do my routine, and I actually dance with my knee brace on.
Did you do your own stunts with the vine swinging?
Yes, I did. Yes, I did. It's all me. Everything's me.
What was more painful, the vine swing or the table bump at TLC?
I'm gonna say the table bump. I think vine. My time was kind of. I'm going to be back to that a little. The entire body shaving routine 3 times a week was too much about the 8th week, but the cast is great in that. And of course, the Soderbergh films is going to be great. But I think that's and right now he's off. He just had the vow, which is, I think, $135 million. I think they're right now 21 Jump Street's at about 80. So I think that the people are going to want to see Channing dancing around. Good. He's an amazing dancer too, man. I mean, he's an absolutely amazing dancer. Great guy, but just absolutely. I mean, it was. I really had a great 2 films to work on. I spent most of last year. From I think I started Rock of Ages in June, and I finished up December with Magic Mike. So, I just kind of worked through and kind of worked the wrestling around it. And then when that TLC match got done, I didn't do anything for 2 months. I just sat at home and just kind of chilled. So I'm kind of getting back into gear and starting to do a couple of indies and stuff like that. But looking forward to WrestleMania. Looking forward to the hoopla, to the shenanigans.
The shenanigans.
Friday night.
Well, of course, Friday night you can have some hashtag shenanigans with not only a former champion and wrestling legend, but obviously movie star Magic Mike and Rock of Ages coming out sometime this year.
I wouldn't say movie star, but I'll say SAG actor.
Come on, Kevin. I'm trying to give you a tease. We can at least embellish the tease a little bit.
All right. Yeah. What the hell?
That's Kevin Nash again. Friday night shenanigans party, beach party, Ocean's 10, 7 p.m. is the doors open for VIPs, 8 o'clock for general admission. You can get general admission tickets at the door. Of course, again, great cast going to be at that one. Kevin Nash, Sean Waltman, Billy Gunn, DDP, Rikishi, Headbanger, Sonny, Harry Smith, Rob Terry, Robbie E. It's going to be a good time. And, of course, you can get a personalized autograph no matter where you are. You can live wherever you're at. If you can't get to Miami, you can get an autograph, both video and picture-wise from Kevin Nash. You can check those out, nashandfriends.com. Kevin, it's always a pleasure, and I appreciate the time, and I'll see you in a few days, man.
All right, buddy. Take care.